Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, I want to thank you for joining me this afternoon. We will not be very long today. This is going to be a rather short message. I know that people will be joining me as this does get out and broadcast that I am live. So we're going to go ahead and press forward. I please apologize if you can hear the thunderstorm in the background. It should be moving away from my area very shortly. It's finally starting to light up to the point where I felt that it was okay to go live. As the title says, we are going to be talking about court filings today in regards to the Summer Wells Reward Fund. Hello, Izzy Rose. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Bear with me just a moment here. We are kind of waiting for more people to trickle in, but at the same time, I am going to be pushing forward with this. I was one of my usual persons that helped me out with doing some research and other things that are part of my Discord had sent me information about what was filed today. Hello, Muffin Top. How are you? I appreciate you joining me. And basically, we're just going to go over the court filing and what the court filing says. Some of you heard myself speak on John Q last night, and earlier just within the past hour on Nita's World. Oklahoma, thank you for joining me. We were talking about the reward fund as well as other developments that have happened today related to Summer Wells. That's Miss Carrie Lawson. Lisa, how are you doing? Lisa, I haven't seen you around in a while. Thank you for joining me. Lisa, how have you been doing? Cherokee Girl, thank you for joining me. And the reason I'm pointing out a lot of these names is that within the past 2 days, these are new subscribers to me. For those who have been plugging my channel recently, Miss Cosplay, thank you very much. Yeah, Cosplay, isn't it the saying that you need a vacation from your vacation always true? She ran calling Wildflower. How are you? But to the people that have just recently subscribed to my channel, I want to thank you very, very much. I appreciate you joining me. And I look forward to getting to know each of you as time goes on. As much as a creator can with a YouTube audience. But needless to say, D Love, thank you very, very much for joining me. Oh, Laura, thank you very much. You're being too kind. Too kind. Cosplay, thank you very much for throwing up there. Please, yes, let's hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Hello, Charlie K. How are you? As I like to say, Laura, I just have the gift for gab. Sometimes I can sit there and talk and talk and talk. Like last night, got talking and it started off just joking with John Q, saying, he's trying to get me started to talk about Summer Wells, and we talked for roughly 4 hours last night. Just have a natural gift for the gab. But I'm going to show you portions of a document, the document that I had gotten a copy of. And guys, listen, my channel has a standard, a certain standard that's unique to other channels. I'm going to say if you live in an area that is under severe storm warnings right now, I know it's in the Midwest near Iowa, is it Sioux Falls, Iowa, then Sioux City, Sioux Center. If you live near those cities in the Midwest, I'm going to go ahead and encourage you to not watch me right now and catch me on a replay. And I'm going to suggest that you go and turn on another YouTube channel named Ryan Hall Y'all. He's a guy that does weather, the weather. He's from Kentucky, and he is live right now with some very serious, strong storms that he's had a few tornado warnings happening today. So if you live in that area, that's where most of the storms happen to be centered. Suggest you watch and make sure that you're in a safe place. That's just my way I do my chat room, the way I do my lives. I want everybody to make sure they're safe. So if you live in those kind of areas, in that area, check him out. Even if you throw it up on a second screen to make sure that your area is not being warned or close to being warned from storms, I'd heavily encourage that, because I'd rather see you all be alive and watch me on a replay than have you be in my chat room live and putting your life in danger. So just gave y'all a heads up with that. Ryan Hall Y'all, if you live in those areas. But we are going to go forward with talking about the PDF that I have. I am not showing the whole entire PDF because it would be doxing people, and I am not about doxing anybody. Bear with me just a moment here while I go ahead and pull this up. So this is the official court document that was filed today. Okay. There is a couple items that I want to point out that popped when I was reading over this initially, that popped out and that I thought were extremely important to this document. The first one is going to be on page 3, line 13. Okay, let's look at the top here. And this is what I was saying. Both Fiona O'Connor, Q Carlock, Summer Wells Reward Fund, and interested parties, as well as the Child Advocacy Center of the 3rd Judicial District, are all named as defendants in this. So do not expect those persons to be legally allowed to make any further comments now that court filings has been processed. They will not be able to make any sort of statements on this until the court has any statements. Very first one, Civis Bank, now Thread Bank, did not retain records. They did not retain records for those who made in-person cash deposits into the disputed fund account. Nor did Civis Bank, now Thread Bank, retain the records or addresses of those who mailed or made in-person deposits by checks in the disputed fund. Some identified by name and city, and others named by name and state or country in some cases. Thus, the identified and whereabouts of each of those donors make up the 28 deposits not presently known and would be difficult, if at all possible, to reconstruct. That is what this is about. This is why they are needing a declaratory judgment. The bank did not keep records. Bear with me a moment, guys. I just got a text message I'm responding to real quick that I cannot say what it is about. So Civis Bank, number one, failed to do what a bank is supposed to do in this type of situation. They did not record who made what deposit. Although they were, if you look at what the persons that had posted out on the internet, when they did make a deposit, they received a receipt with the dollar amount that was supposed to be a receipt for tax purposes. If somebody wanted to go ahead and file a tax filing of anything, the end of year taxes, just put it that way, leave it short like that. But they did not do this correctly. Okay. And then I'm actually going to take this back offline for a moment, guys. Bear with me a moment here. I just want to make sure I'm not doxing anybody when I go over this. It's alleging that, or it's saying also that Q Cardlock Okay, I'm a good up to 19, so bear with me a moment here, folks. I just got this and I just reviewed this, so bear with me as I kind of have a little bit of a cringe moment here as I'm going over this with you. I want to make sure I'm not doxing anybody. Again, that's why I just took it down real quick and it's coming right back up. All right, so that in October 2021, defendant Q Cardlock, and the only donor to using wire transfers, deposited a total of $32,193.34 into disputed funds. The fund, which we knew was only set to be initially 6 months from when it opened, which was June 21st, 2021. And that is mentioned. Summer Wells went missing. This is in the fact section, which is at the top, towards the top of the of this. There it is. After the meeting on June 21st, 2021, the Plaintiff Rescue Squad publicly announced the Summer Wells Reward Fund was open for donations. And then later, it was added an additional 6 months before distributing the monies on deposit. Let's not forget that there's $35,000 in 2 deposits that was be held on deposit. meaning that they were only going to be cashed. Those two deposits were actually only going to be cashed if and when that this had somebody had came forward with the credible information that was for Summers for Wells' return. Okay, so that never happened. So the $35,000 was already earmarked to be returned to the donors. I'm just going to catch up my chat here, guys. Bear with me a second. Where the wind blows, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you. Okay, so we're still going over some basic facts of the account and what had happened. This is the mention of the $35,000 right here. The two deposits that were to be held on the account, never cashed. The plaintiff rescue squad has received email correspondence. This is number 18 on page 4 from defendant Fiona O'Connor alleging inappropriate donation instructions may have been used in international solicitation by defendant. Bear with me, Chad. I will be back with you in just a moment. I'm making sure I am not doxing anybody. I know I've said it a few times here, but I want to make sure that I'm not giving out anybody's addresses. They are specifying that the total sum of the money that they have in this disputed funds account is a total of $40,305.47. It is being held at Civs Bank, now Thread Bank, consisting of foresaid $32,193.34 deposited by Q Carlock, and plus other 28 deposits. It does, in the fact section, it does say that some of the deposits are as little as 2 cents. Okay, I'm back past the section of anybody address or anything being shared, so I am going to show this again. This is what the Churchill Rescue Squad is actually seeking from the court. The Plaintiff Rescue Squad, pursuant Tennessee Civil Provision 4.08, requested an order for constructive service by publication on defendant dollars and defendants who reside outside of Tennessee, as stated in the verified information above, and in accordance with Tennessee Code. There's the code. Now, in this court documents, here's the dirty This is just more of the filing, part of the filing. This is actually coming from the rescue squad, assuming legal liability for court fees and such. Here is the dirty. This is the email that was sent. And it's specifying that Q Carlock, who was not, in my opinion, doing anything but out of this, collecting funds from people out of the goodness of her heart by holding a fundraiser from the profit of sale of goods, which is perfectly legal to do within the United States. But somebody that is not from the United States is sticking their nose into the business that they don't understand. This is the email that was sent. My name is Fiona, and I am an independent investigator. I have been conducting an investigation into three donations received into said reward from said person, from that person, Q Carlock. Q Carlock, I apologize. I cannot do anything about your actual name being all over this document. I apologize. If you do ever hear of this, I apologize. I hold nothing but a high regard for you and John Q. I do not believe, again, this is my opinion before I go forward with this letter, I don't believe that anything that this letter is alleging is true. As I am aware, you are, as I'm sure you are aware, held an unregulated legal fundraiser on YouTube over the course of 10 days. Truth. There was a fundraiser on 10 days. The said fundraiser was unregulated on the grounds donations were illegally solicited from members of the public as an intentional diversion from donating directly to Civus Bank. Look, I don't know about you, but evidence, a reward fund, and there's been other YouTubers that have done this, stories on this. There's been police documents. There's been all sorts of documents. Majority of the time, reward funds do not work. They don't work because somebody's not, no matter how much money is collected, somebody's not going to step up and snitch on their neighbor or tell what they know, or there's so many legalities into ways that they're written that it's often very, very difficult for a person that actually does come forward and give information to collect on them. Okay. Just giving my personal opinion that majority of the time reward funds don't work. And people went ahead and stepped up and said, we're going to support the cause of searching for Summer Wells, trying to find her. And if it was by the sale of goods and a profit being turned over, there's nothing illegal about that. It's done all the time. If it was illegal for that to do so, man, nobody would ever donate money unless they're truly altruistic. And that's just an extremely rare quality, that a person that would be that altruistic, that they would just donate like for no reason. And no, I'm not saying anybody that did what they did donating to the fund was by greed. I'm reacting to this letter just as much as you guys are seeing it for the first time. right? Where the wind blows, it makes you seriously think of if you do something like this to get a shirt that's advertising that Summer Wells was missing, because I believe that was what the shirts were doing. That there was this much backlash. Here's what troubles me the most in this letter, and we'll go and turn this open to anybody that wants to join me on panel in just a moment. I know that there's probably some people that may be lurking and cannot make any comments on this because of their being named. And I respect that 100%. Video evidence was made available by Q Carlock with regards to a telephone conversation with Captain Tim Coop and other staff members of Church Hill Search and Rescue. And the video said after video of the said calls were placed on YouTube and provided clear evidence that Captain Tim Coop and other staff members were aware that the above donations originated from fundraisers on behalf of your Summer Wells Reward fundraiser. And since I've already gone ahead and showed these others' names, I'm just not showing addresses. There's who had sent this at the bottom here. There is one of the ways. So within this letter, it is saying, and I saw it when I was looking over this before, that an inquiry has been raised in 2 different states. I will only say that one of them is in Tennessee because we have the letter right here. I'm not saying where the other one, because that could potentially be doxing a person. Okay. So there's now 2 states that are now looking into the legitimacy of the fundraiser that happened. I, for one, as somebody that lives in the Tri-Cities area, Tri-Cities, Tennessee area, I am grateful for what Q Carlock stepped up and did. I believe that she did this out of good faith. And I am very proud to say that I have been on her channels and have had conversations with her, very intelligent conversations with her. I am outraged that this person will take the goodness of a person's actions and question what they're doing as being legal. It's complete bullshit. And if there was a way that this person would face any charges that would have been pressed or could possibly come out of, I hope that they don't find them to be. I hope they do not find that Q Carlock was in any sort of improper standing when she did this. And I hope that they turn around and go after the individuals that are doing this. Grandma's watching you. That is exactly right. They were simply going to raise money from, and it was going to be the profit from the sales, and then other creators got involved, and it turned into a fundraiser. Boss Man Blake, Boss Man here. Let me, if you want, or anybody else wants, I'm about to drop a link. Nobody's, I understand if nobody wants to, or if you want to join a cop, jump up here. That's fine. I appreciate you doing so. Boss Man. Just to let you know, there is a court filing today regarding the Summer Wells reward fund for Churchill Rescue Squad for the courts to give them a directive of what do they do to do with the money. And in it, it alleges improprieties done by that the potential improprieties done by Q Carlock. But like I said, if anybody wants to join me, you're more than welcome to do so. I agree, guys. I 100% agree. Look, Grandma's watching you. I agree. There was nothing she did wrong. She lived up to what she said she was going to do. Because of the large size of the donations, whether it be from the super chats or the profits from the sales, it doesn't matter. I honestly will tell you, I did not participate in her fundraiser. Not because I thought that she was suspect. Not because of anything other than I couldn't at that time. No, Boss Man, I'm not saying what they did was a scam at all. Arizona Traveler, if you want to go ahead and shut off your camera, you're fine.
I'm good.
Okay. I saw you give me a thumbs up. That's why I brought you up. The Arizona Traveler, thank you for joining me.
Somebody just asked who said that. Right in the beginning, people at the vigil, people started saying that they were going to donate all the super chats to Adventures with Purpose. And it was right in the beginning, and I think Justin said it. He said to stop sending donations for a little bit until they figure out what they were doing. And then that was all I heard about it. But I never heard how much they...
This wasn't done at the vigil that just...
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm just talking about another fundraiser that, like, where'd all that... Did that money get... Did Adventures with Purpose get money?
I can't answer that. I have no knowledge of it.
I was curious because I was counting the money at, like, watching people's streams in the super chats, and it was like large amounts of money that day, and I never heard nothing else about it. Like this person, like, I'm not gonna name names, but creators were like, hey, we're gonna donate it to Adventures with Purpose, super chats, but then that was all I heard about it. There was never an amount. There was never, all right, we donated this to them. I mean, yeah. So I was just curious about that.
Right. Grandma's watching you, has it exactly right. Well, this was done back in October 2021. And by the time all the funds got collected, and by the time she was able to make deposits, because of the amount of money that it had been collected, what the terms of how YouTube was paying it out, how because of the large sum, because of the how much that the account that was used was allowing to be transferred out, wire transferred out. There was limitations that she had to work with, and it was done over a couple, I believe it was 2, maybe 3 different wire transfers. It was actually
So
3. The paperwork was
$30,000.
3.
So how much did she raise for the fund?
It is a total of 32,000. Hang on one second here. I have the exact number.
Okay, that's close enough. So
32,500, something roughly like that.
So what do they complain? What's the issue with it? If it got donated, if it got given to the bank, regardless, she didn't have to give that money to the bank. She could have gave it to Adventures with Purpose, and they could have went and did a search. And that, to me, that's like spending that money wisely.
They're saying that the way that she went about collecting the funds was improper. That she solicited them illegally through YouTube.
YouTube solicits it every. I bet YouTube took their 30% of all of it.
Yeah. That is what the court filing is saying, is that she solicited these funds illegally through YouTube.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of this situation, but like, I mean, if someone donated $32,000 to the bank, they should be happy. People shouldn't be complaining about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the sheriff, I seen where he said in a press conference, we need money. So if the sheriff needs money,
so
like to do searches, like I think some of that money should be like opened up to the police department to do a proper search. Get EquiSearch in, get Adventures with Purpose in there, get a real, some real people that showed results with searches and get them in there to do it instead of, just any random people collecting money that I see, that don't have search experience. I mean, they weren't even in Tennessee, and I see people taking money and they never even went to Tennessee for summer wells. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are you doing with that money? Like,
boss man, you're raising excellent points there. I appreciate you doing so. How when people get money through their Cash App off of YouTube? Exactly. And Carrie, I don't believe she did either. She did not scam anybody. She did what she said she was going to do. She set her intentions, was very clear about her intentions, and then went and did her intentions. Okay. There's one other comment I want to bring up. And guys, please understand, this is, you are entitled, you are allowed to express your outrage over this. It was you. Some of you worked extremely hard for the money that you donated. My mods know that they're to sit back, and this is a time for you to vent and get your frustration out. My channel, my description is I am mad as hell, and I'm not going to stay silent any longer. Okay. We talk about true crimes all the time, and this is a time that, out of goodness of everybody's heart, that everybody went and worked together, put all difference, or tried to, even though differences did happen, that you all went and put your hard work, the money you earned, Whether it's your money, your spouse's money, it doesn't matter. You put your time and effort into supporting Summer Wells. This is
Right.
your time, guys. I'm just simply showing you what the court document is showing. This is your time to express your frustration.
Right. I also heard that a creator or two, and I'm not gonna mention hers names, but I guess these people bought a bunch of like spy equipment, like pens with like cameras and stuff to investigate when they went to Tennessee, and they collected money to buy all this stuff. But then when they got back, they sent all the stuff back to Amazon and got all their money back.
I don't know anything about that. I never heard that one, so I'm just going to have to let that one be.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if I don't know,
I can't verify that. I just heard. That's why I said I just heard that.
Right. So you were, to answer your question, you were asking about the funding. The Tim Coop was saying, getting out there saying that we need funding. It's just the sheriff. It wasn't just the sheriff's department. It was the state as well. TBI specifically.
Right.
I'm going to ask Carrie if you would drop a link into the chat room from Nita's World last night. It was the one that after she had talked to John Q and myself on John Q, she went into looking at ledger information from I think it was Rogersville or Hawkins County, one of the two. Nita's World had she had found information that is relative to what you were asking. This is why I'm asking.
Grandma, are you saying I don't know what I'm talking about? Or is she talking about you or me?
Oh, I don't know. Grandma, link's pinned. Grab it. Explain yourself.
So what don't I know that I'm talking about? I don't know nothing about the 2021. I just asked a question about the money that was collected at the vigil, if it was donated to Adventures with Purpose, like it said it was going to be.
Yeah, I again, like I said, I don't know anything about the Adventures with Purpose donation. This has not been a water rescue in any way, shape, or form. And I do watch Adventures with Purpose. They do water rescue, water recovery more specifically.
Right.
So I'm a little bit confused of why anybody would be donating to Adventures with Purpose, to be honest.
Yeah. This was right in the beginning of the vigil when Justin was recording and they were under the little tents they had set up. So if somebody wants to go back to that day and look at those videos, but I do know what I'm talking about on multiple cases, and I stay informed.
Okay.
I know we're not talking about the vigil, Grandma. I just asked a question about the vigil. I said it's not right that the money, if that money was collected, then...
So we're talking about two different funds, though, two different collections that are in question. What we're focused on is what happened back in October. And again, I do not believe that there was any impropriety.
Okay, Grandma, that cleared that up then, what you just said. If that's... I did not hear that, but that clears that up. But I don't think in 2021 anything was done wrong if that money went to the fund, like regardless. Like, I mean, it was a donation. It was donations made to Summer Wells, and it was given to the bank. Like, nobody kept money. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. Why there has to be like legal papers and stuff. And saying she solicited illegally.
Yeah, and Grandma raises a point of the water rescue. People.
That's what I just said.
Right.
I
But also, this was never a question of if she's in water until recently, when somebody had floated an idea that she was put into a barrel. And I apologize for the poorly worded way I worded it. I didn't not mean to pun that at all. Yeah, so this has nothing to do with that. This has everything and only everything to do with October and what happened and what was donated to the Summer Wells Reward Fund, not what happened at this this vigil that just happened on the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. Okay. So
this is going back to October.
Scratch the vigil. I'm not even going to talk about the vigil anymore. But what did they do wrong in 2021? What are they saying was done wrong?
So there is a person that's claiming they are a private investigator of the UK, and they're saying that the funds were collected illegally. That's this letter.
I doubt they're going to file a lawsuit in international court. Wouldn't that be an international court?
I'm going to say this is not going to be an international issue because the bank accounts within the United States, the person that was collected funds was within the United States. And it's even though money may have been donated from overseas, it was for the purposes of Summer Wells.
Right. But the person that has the problem with it is in the UK, right?
Right, exactly. The person that has the problem with it is identifies themselves as being a investigator, an independent investigator. I did not show, but it does say authorities in the U.S. and the UK in the letter itself. I did not show, but earlier in this document, it does give the addresses, and I was very careful not to show that information. That the one person's address is in the UK.
All right. How much money total is in the bank now for her reward fund?
They said 40,150 roughly.
So they're gonna bitch because this lady raised 75% of the reward money in the bank. She did a good job.
Yeah, Q Carlock. Like I said, I believe what Q Carlock did was in good standing. I don't believe, and for her, I don't have any ability to speak for her or a right to speak to her for her.
Right. Legally, she could have kept a percent of that money for her time, any kind of fee, like you know how like all these commercials you used to see where donate $19 a month and you'll feed a family in Africa. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They were only donating 20% of that money to Africa and keeping 80% of it for administrative costs. And they were allowed to do that because it's just the way it was. That's the way it works.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with that, so I can't comment on this. I want to stay focused on just what this document is saying. So, Arizona Travel, I want to thank you for coming up on panel with me and joining me. It was a pleasure talking to you. I'm going to go back to focusing on what the chat says for a little bit. Please don't say please don't think you can't participate in the chat. Please do so. Okay.
No, this is cool. I I was just like, people saying I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm like, you're right, I don't. I didn't know nothing about this document. I was just curious about it all. So,
Mhm.
but and wanted to ask a couple questions about it. So,
All right, I
but thank you
appreciate you
for
doing it.
having me up. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you, Arizona teacher. I do appreciate you joining me. And so, Grandma's watching you. Yes, it was $74,000. $35,000 of it, the $25,000 and the $10,000 check, were designated as to be held. It was never, they were never cashed. Meaning that unless somebody came up and was in a position, the legal position to cash, the collect on that reward fund, those two checks were never ever going to be cashed. And because the reward fund expired, they went back to the persons that wrote the checks. That's why the reward fund is only at roughly $40,000. And what is in question is that $40,000. Yeah, that was that's another low ball move. And what that was that they were not in control. Because they were not in control, they were offended. Let's just call it what it is. They were not in control where the wind blows, and because of that, they were offended and they were pissed off. Hello, Stardust. Thank you very much. Where the wind blows, absolutely. But even though I'm going to make a reference to Nita's World again and the live she was doing earlier before she had to go run an errand. And as this information was dropping and I was getting information to the person that does not wish to be identified but sent me information, I'm very, very thankful for doing so. You can see the events that happened today, that even though the court system might be slow, or the wheels of justice might be slower in this area, when things start happening, it's wham bam. They're going to happen quick. When they're ready to take action, they strike. Okay, Cherokee Girl. Okay, you cannot go on the 74,000 and somewhat because of two of those checks had stipulations to them, so they cannot truly count. Exactly. That's why they've already been returned to the persons that wrote them. Okay, they were returned to them as of June 15th, the end of the business day. Officially, that account was supposed to close. So June 16th, those persons were either sent the checks back, or they could walk into the bank and collect those checks, then take those checks back so they wouldn't be cashed. Or call the bank up and say, shred them. Stardust, I said hello, but I'm going to make sure you do see that I did see you. Hi, how are you? Double Rainbows, you snuck in the back door. I didn't see you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in. Well, right now there's court filings, or no, I want to say court filings, but there's court filings in Tennessee, and there's another state that has been contacted about these funds were illegally collected, and the documentation that I have specifies that. Where the wind blows, because of where I live, I'm not touching that statement, but I understand what you're saying. And what I will say is that no county, if you look out, if you dig far enough in a county's history or a town's history or a city's history, you're going to find corruption somewhere. Guys, I did not. I said this was not going to be a very long stream. I Muffin Top, you're right, and I really was just coming on tonight, so everybody could see the 9-page document that was filed in courts, and I was just grabbing some items that I thought were standing out and were extremely important. And I had no intention of being long. And I'm absolutely sure it's going to be on the news. I know WJHL is reporting this. They're actually just about either just went off or just about 20 minutes ago, or just about to go off the air for till 11 o'clock. I'm sure they're reporting it. Charlie K, I appreciate that very much. I wasn't going to keep you long, guys. Like I said, I want to just go live and throw this out there so you guys could see it and grab what was standing out as important to me in this. Again, I don't believe that Q Carlock. I think the person that is doing this is reaching and trying to start trouble as the document starts out. The lawyers have it right in this. This is a quote from the beginning, and the WJHL also quoted this. The opening statement in this court filing document, it says the cause which implicates the phrase, or this is a cause which implicates the phrase "no good deed goes unpunished" as a sardonic commentary on the frequency and which acts of kindness backfire on those who offer them. That's the opening statement on this court filing. They're already saying in the very beginning that they do not believe that the person that raised this money had ill intentions. But because somebody wants to stick their nose in and make an issue out of funds being raised and the manner in which they were raised, that they have to have a directive from the courts on what they're going to do next. And this is what I was saying on John Q last night. This is part of what I was saying. There had to be some sort of legal proceeding, either by a levy, a lien, or any sort of legal proceeding that was already filed or being threatened to be filed on this funds. Oklahoma gets it. Oklahoma, I cannot say it in any better words. How I got to meet John Q and Miss Q was I was not ever planning on having my own channel. And I was on somebody else's channel. We originally started talking about Summer Wells, and they realized I had a lot of insight and knowledge about the area. And we talked quite often. And there's some other things that happen on that channel. Not all of them are important, but I got introduced to John Q and Q Carlock over Michael Vaughn. Q Carlock realized I was very like-minded to John Q. And John Q and I got to sit down and talk about cases. And we realized that we are very like-minded. I have nothing but the highest regard for John Q and Q Carlock because them, Carrie, and another mod of mine who is not here tonight, or she was here earlier but is not here, Cosplay. They're 4 individuals that actually heavily encouraged me to start my own channel. Okay. So I have a ton of respect for John Q and Q Carlock. From what I actually sat back and witnessed, like I said, I personally did not donate to it, and I will freely admit to that. But it doesn't mean that I didn't sit in that chat when I was able to and contribute by talking. They are very good. They are individuals that stay away from the drama, muck, and mire that most channels fall into the trap of. Bossman Blake was in here earlier, and he asked, "Is this document alleging that they scammed people?" No, because I don't believe that, and I didn't answer this at the time, but I remember his question. Bossman Blake is another person that I met through John Q. Okay. Another person I have absolutely high regard for, and another person I would recommend anybody to go check out his channel. He doesn't just follow true crime. He actually has nights where he puts up absolutely wonderful artists that aren't getting national attention. And he'll interview them and play their music, and it's a good, fun time sometimes. Thank you, Charlie K. You reminded me to mention Bossman Blake. Bossman Blake was in here earlier, and he was asking if this was alleging that they scammed people. No, I don't believe it's they scam people. It's questioning whether or not the funds were collected legally and within. were collected legally within the spirit of the laws. And it's sad. It is extremely sad that a good person's name, boss man, I didn't forget that question. I was coming back to it, man. I just didn't have it to highlight. I did not forget your question. Oklahoma, they're the persons I have issue with as well. If you do not do your job, simple, do your damn job. You have people sending money to an account. I understand banking rules and regulations. You cannot disclose the account number. You cannot disclose the funds in an account. You can still, in this case, because it was for a charity and they were doing so for one time, sending people a handwritten receipt to say that we received these funds and they have been deposited into that account. Pen 1010, thank you very much for joining me. Miss Carrie, thank you very much for being on the spot with links. Boss man Blake, I like to think I do so as well. I only want good people to be, the positive people to be around me, people that I can learn from and grow with. But I don't believe that anybody I don't believe that Miss Q Carlock, however you wish to refer to her as, was trying to scam anybody or do anything improper. The two people that have shame in this is Civis Bank for not properly recording who was donating to that fund. They should have been recording where that came from, not only because of Q Carlock, the size of Q Carlock's funds would have required tax documents to be filed on the amounts that were being sent because they were sent through wires. Even if they were walked into the bank, it still would have required tax documentation. Carrie, thank you for being on the spot with channel links there. I appreciate it. These are the people that I have mentioned in the live tonight, who are creators that I fully support, and frequently have gone on. And with Nita's World, I look forward to having more conversations with her. The people that have shame are Civis Bank and the persons that sent that email. I am not the person to call for social justice and this, that, and the other. I'm not going to sit there and tell you to stop watching that person if you do. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you the opposite. I'm going to tell you, make sure that you don't go contacting their employers. Don't go and do the social justice warrior cancellation BS. Don't do that. because that's basically what they're trying to do to Q Carlock by dragging her name through the mud like they are. Humanity has got to strive, and this goes on so many levels. And boss man, you're going to laugh when I say this. Humanity has got to strive to be better. Here's the thing. No matter what kind of demographic somebody falls into, we are all human beings. We all have our role in striving to be better. And this whole court filing thing is not it. This whole court filing thing, dragging somebody's name through the mud, it's not it. That's why I'm saying shame belongs in the two people that sent that email. Guys, I know that Nita's World was planning on going live after she got back from having to run an errand. I don't know if she's back or not. I know that she talked to me about a little bit about what she was planning on going and doing. I would encourage you to go and listen in. If you're not a sub of hers and can't talk in her chat, sometimes we don't always have the fix as a creator to fix a problem. But sometimes the best thing we can do is talk about it and have an open and honest conversation that is inclusive of everybody. So I would encourage everybody to go and watch Nita's World. I never promised that. I said I wasn't going to be very long. Boss man, you're going to have and John Q. I don't know if you're still lurking or not. I know you were at one point. You're going to have an email in just a few moments. It's if we want to set up an office, a private conversation, we can do so. I'm free for the rest of the night. But I want to thank everybody for coming out and hearing me out on this. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you. It's Oklahoma. Do we know if they were going to... I didn't see any Oklahoma. I didn't see anything a mention of a subpoena to have that person come to the United States for the Tennessee specifically to testify. I would assume because of expenses and whatnot that you probably would get if needed, they would do it by deposition. Since this is a civil action, not a criminal action at this point. Just my opinion on that. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But anyway, everybody have a good night. If I'll be over in Nita's World if I can. Well, I want to thank everybody once again for coming out. My name is RJ. RJ. At the end of my streams, I usually say what time of night it is. It is 7 p.m. Tonight, make sure you know where your kids are. Give them an extra hug. I'm out.